The Republican Party is so desperate to deflect from the hashtag Trump tapes, in which their cult leader openly admits to committing the crimes of which he has been federally indicted, that they are flagrantly lying about a recent quote from President Biden in the dumbest, most dangerous whataboutism you've ever seen from the GOP. Give them a week, and I'm sure they'll top it. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe, and enjoy the video. All right, folks, you've heard me harp on this a time or two, and I imagine you'll hear me harp on it a time or two again, and probably until the stars burn out, because it's so important that we consistently reaffirm this, using every possible combination of words to persuade as many people as possible of this fact. The Republican Party is not a loyal opposition party. They're not a serious governing party. They are not a political party. They are a fascistic, authoritarian cult. That is a fact. That's not a matter of opinion. That is a fact. They have all the qualities and characteristics of a cult. They have surrounded themselves, pledged themselves, disregarding all principle, all record, all history, to a moron demagogue, Donald Trump. And the evidence for this we've discussed again and again and again and again. And the GOP never fails to produce additional evidence reaffirming their degradation into a fascistic cult of personality, which should be feared to some extent because they're dangerous, but also mocked, derided, and crushed. That is what the GOP should be as a political party. The Democrats have a moral and ethical obligation not only to themselves and their constituents, but also Republican constituents who are also victimized by the GOP's very stupid, fascistic, authoritarian inclinations. And Democrats need to aggressively seek and wield political power against the GOP as a political party, conservative and Republican thought leaders, because of how stupidly dangerous they are. They are a bad faith, disloyal opposition party with no limiting principle. Why do I say that now? Well, again, the GOP has produced yet additional evidence to further reaffirm that fact. What am I talking about? Well, President Biden recently had a meeting with some world leaders last week. And this kind of flew under the radar to some extent, but just last night, the hashtag Trump tapes were released in which Donald Trump openly admitted to sharing classified national defense information to which he was not entitled to have and was in fact obligated to return to the federal government. And he shared that information with unauthorized people. He is a national security risk. This is no longer a matter of opinion. This is a fact. Well, the GOP is desperate to deflect from this because Donald Trump is still their leader, he is still their cult leader, and he is still the favorite in the GOP primary. So what are they doing? They're referring to that meeting that Joe Biden had last week with some world leaders, and they're taking a quote in which he says, "I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things." We're going to play the clip in a second, but I just want to tee it up here. This is from Marjorie Taylor Greene. "Joe Biden's brain is going, and he's literally admitting his crimes out loud. Impeach Biden. It's so unreal and insulting to America." You have the woman who pretends that she is the governor of Arizona, Kari Lake. Joe Biden admitted to actual treason. "I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things." And if you just search state secrets in Twitter, you will be inundated with clips and references to this quote by all kinds of conservative thought leaders, Republican officials, just on down the line. It's probably infinite. So let's go to an official Republican Twitter page, the RNC research page. This is an official Twitter page affiliated with the Republican Party. It's not merely a Republican official or somebody who shares some policy positions of Republicans. This is the official RNC research Twitter page. So this is the quote. Biden last week, "I stole a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things." That's the quote. Let's hear it.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
So that's the quote. Man, it sounds bad, doesn't it? And now the other world leaders are laughing, but that in and of itself, that quote is pretty damning. The RNC research further points out, listen, this is the official White House transcript. Okay, I was just thanking anyway, I just started off without you, and I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Laughter. Wow, that sounds pretty bad, especially in light of the Trump tapes. Interesting. Well, apparently there's more to the clip, so we're going to play the rest of the clip and go from there.
I started off without you, and I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look.
Did you catch that? All kidding aside. All kidding aside. Well, maybe they missed it. Maybe it wasn't in the official White House transcript. Oh my God, except it was. It was. President Biden, okay, I was just thanking me anyway. I just started off without you, and I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, literally right under this cropped picture of the White House transcript is the remark that we see in the full clip. He was joking. Now, you can take offense to the joke. You can say that it's inappropriate. You can say that perhaps it's some sort of Machiavellian, laughing with the truth, making a comedy out of the truth. If you're a conspiracy theorist who think President Biden has sold state secrets without evidence, you can think all those things. But the fact of the matter is he did say he was kidding. It was in the transcript. It was in the clip. And Republican officials and conservative thought leaders are lying about the clip. Again, you can take issue with the joke, but the fact of the matter is the evidence shows it was a joke. And they're doing that to distract from the fact that Donald Trump, in an audio recording, openly admitted. We actually have the recording not only of him admitting to doing what he's doing, of him actually doing what he is federally indicted of doing. We have the recording of him showing unauthorized personnel in a stupid attempt to clout shark classified national defense information. In the recordings, he admits that they're still classified. He no longer has the authority. He admits he no longer has the authority to declassify them. He could have declassified them once upon a time, but didn't. The information he's sharing concerns the military. It's confidential. It's secret. It's classified. He says all of that. And then he stupidly shows it to unauthorized people. That is infinitely more egregious and infinitely more damning than President Biden making a joke. Now, again, if you're conspiracy-brained, you are welcome to nurture whatever dark thought you have, but where are the facts? The fact of the matter is the Republican Party has produced exactly zero evidence that President Biden engaged in any sort of inappropriate quid pro quo with any country for his own enrichment, or that he sold secrets or gave secrets to foreign adversaries. All of that is innuendo. The fact of the matter is, and this is a fact, and I understand that this is probably going to upset many conservatives, but it is a fact, and the fact that it upsets you is actually really gratifying to me and gratifying to a lot of progressives because it's hilarious. The fact of the matter is that the case against Donald Trump is infinitely greater than any case you have against President Biden. And I understand that that bothers you, that hurts, that stings, but we don't care. It's hilarious. And at any time, you could choose, just like every other Republican official sharing this dishonest whataboutism, at any point, you all could make the courageous, smart choice, and smart in terms of the long-term health of your party in this country, to disavow Donald Trump. The Republican Party existed before Donald Trump. There's no reason why it can't exist beyond Donald Trump, and if it doesn't, it's because you all, as Republican leaders, stupidly made the decision to entrench yourselves with Donald Trump. You allowed this moron, this pathologically lying, malignant narcissist to metastasize within your party because, again, you stupidly thought that you could weaponize him for short-term political gain and then discard him when he was no longer convenient, or that you could fix him. Like the cliche, oh, I should date the bad boy or the bad girl because I can fix them. You can't fix this man. He's a 76-year-old, coastal billionaire, a malignant narcissist, a pathological liar, probably a sociopath. There's no way to fix that. And everything you've done along the way has further incentivized his misbehavior. So make the courageous choice, swallow your pride, swallow your injury, and accept the fact that your guy is infinitely worse than the other guy, that being Joe Biden. He's infinitely dumber than Joe Biden. He's infinitely more corrupt than Joe Biden. He's just worse in all ways. Accept that fact and get your party out of the terrible nosedive in which it finds itself and which it may drag the rest of the country along with it. Don't do that. Make the brave choice. Recognize this for what it is. And by the way, again, this is where it's really important. It's not just Donald Trump. Republican leaders, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Carrie Lake, the RNC wing of the GOP, they're all complicit in this because They're right now at a crossroads where they could condemn Donald Trump for his stupidity and the threat he poses to national security. They could back literally anybody else, but they could back Chris Christie. They could back DeSantis. I mean, I'm not even necessarily asking them to back President Biden or the Democrats, even though that would be the best choice. Instead, they are sticking by their man, and it's so stupid. So anyway, I want to point this out because it's par for the course. The Republican Party will never find the courage or the intellectual rigor or the credibility to stand up and say, yeah, you know what? We should retire the whataboutisms. This is much worse than anything that we've got on Biden, and it's really stupid of us to pretend otherwise. And you know what? Donald Trump, man, we had a good run. We had a good run. It's not you, it's me. We're breaking up. But they're not going to do that. But until they do, and again, I guess they never will, but hopefully they will. And if they will, and until they do, we need to point this out along the way, the egregious double standards, the whataboutism, the cowardice involved here, and mock it relentlessly.